Okay, so when it comes to freeze drying, there are a couple things that you really want to look at. Like, how do you really tell when food is dry? Because when the machine tells you that food is dry, what it's actually telling you is that we think it might be dry and we need you to start checking it. So when you want to know if food is dry, there are three things that I look for. Number one, I start feeling for cold spots on the food. Wash your hands, dry them really well, and start feeling for cold spots when you're pulling those trays out. If you feel any cold spots, like usually the thickest pieces of food and meat have cold spots in them. If you feel any cold spots, put the trays back in and set the timer again. But when it starts telling me that, hey, I think the food might be done, you need to check it, I immediately, number two, start weighing the food. Once it tells me it thinks it's done, I always have it go into extra dry time. You can program it. I program it for 24 hours. I stop it as soon as I notice that it's gone into extra dry time and I start weighing the food. So if I weigh the food and it's like 1376 grams, I always weigh in grams, I put it back in for 2 hours and I see if it has gone down in weight. It usually will go down 2, 4, 5 grams until it stops losing weight. If I measure it and it's been 2 hours and it hasn't lost any weight, then I know it's done. The third thing that I look at is the mTORs. The mTORs, some people think that when the mTORs get really low, under 200, that is the sign that it's telling you that the food is dry. So I started keeping track of the mTORs. And what I can tell you from my knowledge of keeping track of it, when the mTORs are below 200, that's pretty much when I'm taking my food out. So I do not use the mTORs only as a guide. I use mTORs, weight, and I use the feel, the touching for cold spots. So there you go. That is how you tell if food is dry, because you can use those little infrared meters that test the heat and everything. They're not accurate. There is no real accurate home process of figuring out. It's all just trial and error, and when you think it is. And if you doubt that it is completely dry, put it back in for more time. You cannot over dry something. Dry is dry. Dry cannot be over dried. There you go. I hope that helps.